Okay, good morning. Let's make a start. We're live on YouTube and reporting to the cloud. And today will be our last day to work on our email of advice. And we should have access to this Google document. I'll share it one more time. So we should have access to this Google document. One moment, please. My phone is ringing. Hi guys, sorry about that. That was my best friend calling from Chicago, and we try to talk once a week, and he and I will talk an hour from now. Okay, so let's make sure that everyone has a page. I'll take you through this. I'm going to lock the room now, by the way. So thank you for coming. Let me pop this out. Pop out. Great. All right. So on this page, we have the task prompts. And then we have all the learning targets. So we've been working on this since last week. And we went through authentic online advice columns. And we identified features. And when I mark your work, I'm quite interested in these features and observing them, and especially these. Can you write a paragraph? And if so, in your paragraphs, should you not only have topic sentences, but would you also have examples, reasons, and outcomes? And I highlight that in my writing. Examples, reasons, and outcomes. And then we also have our vocabulary. Can you use vocabulary appropriately? And we had selected Unit 8 vocabulary. And hopefully we were able to use it. Now, a particular grammar item for Unit 8, vocabulary, was actually, besides Unit 8 vocabulary, we were also talking about modal verbs, possibility, can, could, may, might. We went over those. And then there's one other thing about semi-fixed expressions. You can find it on page well, it's also possible to construct sentences using these semi-fixed expressions. When you start a sentence with this, then you need to fill in the blank. Finally, two grammar structures. One is using modal verbs. Can you use modal verbs accurately in your topic sentences? And I show you that over here in my topic sentences. Here's one. And then can you write imperative sentences where the subject is you, but you don't actually write you. You just start with the verb. So I'm going to look for all of that, and hopefully we can see all of that in your writing. So what I plan on doing now is finishing out the rest of my letter, and then I'll go through your letters too, starting with the body paragraphs. Any questions? And does anyone need a page on our Google Doc? Don't have any questions. Okay, thank you, Adam. If you don't have any questions, you can either follow along with me or continue writing your own email of advice. Okay. So Adam, I'll get you a page on our Google Doc. Then I'll start writing my email advice. Boys and girls, you continue writing your own email of advice, or you can follow along with me, your choice. I'll take attendance at the end of this lesson. Okay. Bianca, are you there?
Hi.
Bianca,
Hi.
getting onto the Google Doc. You are working on page 17. Okay, Adam, you're on page 18. And you can follow along with me, or you can just get going. Text me. Leo, do you need any help? Okay, Leo, you're on page 16. Okay, thanks, Adam. All right, so to review, and I'll blow this up, in our last lesson, I wrote the body paragraphs. Try to write at least 2 body paragraphs of suggestions. So I have 2 body paragraphs. First, start with your topic sentences. And you can see with my topic sentences, I use the modal verb construction, and I used a semi-fixed expression. So that was something I was looking for. Are you able to use semi-fixed expressions and this grammar structure? And then I start developing the topic. Right? A topic sentence introduces the topic, and the topic is a suggestion. And then I provide examples. So you see examples in orange. And then we see reasons for suggestions in green. And then we see consequences in blue. So I included all of the paragraph development elements that I was looking for, or that I will be looking for in your writing. Can you provide examples of your suggestions, reasons for your suggestions, and possible outcomes to your suggestions? Okay. So in boldface, I've already shown you modal verbs of possibility. Can, talk, can tell, cannot put away, might change, might provide, might be, may not only provide, may take. So lots of modal verbs of possibility. And remember, and I'm pretty sure you'll be tested on this, there are different degrees of modal verbs of possibility. So some modal verbs like can indicate a higher chance than might, lower chance. And I'm sure you'll be tested on that on your exam. So again, there are different modal verbs of possibility, and some indicate more possible than others. Finally, we have imperative sentences. Do you see? Express your feelings. Express is the verb. You is the subject, but we don't write it. Similarly, ask your parents. Ask is the verb. You is the subject, but we don't write it. So that sorry about that. Imperative sentences is 3.2 learning targets. I can accurately write imperative sentences, which is you, again, you don't write it, verb plus object. Now I'm going to complete the rest of the body or the rest of the letter. After doing the body paragraphs, I think it's easier to write the introduction, the ending paragraph, the closing. So I'll start with the date. That seems pretty easy. And I'm going to look at the task prompts. Is there a date here? Oh, there's no date. Although there is no date in the task prompt, I think, and we thought, there should be a date. In real life examples of online advice columns, there are dates. So let me just put today's date, May 13th. And we see that in real life examples of advice columns, there's almost always some kind of subject or topic or question. So what is your advice about? What is the problem? So you should, even though it's not given here in the task prompt, oh, here it is. Oh, great. You should include a title, right? Thankfully, we see the date here too. So we see a date, now we see a title. So it should be related to the problem or the solution or both. So let me think about what I can name my title. It should be short and snappy. Nothing too long. Don't write a sentence. Let's see. Oh, you're welcome, Leah. Seeking. I'm not sure. Dr. Wu is having a hard time thinking of something that's interesting. Advice. For a reader. Advice for a friend, video game addict. For a friend of if you take a look closely, depending on the style, oftentimes we just, in a title, capitalize the important words. And the usual articles and prepositions we don't capitalize. That depends on the style. Okay, now I'm going to write seriously annoyed boy. If I want to make this title longer, although it's not helpful, I think, again, conciseness, using fewer words, is preferable to something interesting. I'd write advice for a seriously annoyed friend of a video game addict. Make sure I put my closing here. Best regards. Okay, that's a good one. Good luck. All right. Dr. Wu's formal closing is warmly. Dr. Q. Dr. Q. Okay. All right. Now I will go to the introductory paragraph where I have to introduce the problem. So I need to summarize the problem. And I don't want to write too many sentences, maybe at most 3. Again, an introductory paragraph should be shorter than the body paragraphs. The usefulness of a letter of advice is the suggestions, not the summary of the problem. So if I wrote, let's say 1, 2, 3, 4 sentences here, and 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 sentences here, I should write at most maybe 3 sentences here. Now, there are a few things I have to do in this introductory paragraph. I need to introduce Mark. And I want to use these words. I should probably introduce the words here. All right. The title gives you an indication of what the email is about. And then you introduce these ideas in your introductory paragraph. Then you develop them. Okay, so let's talk. Dear serious annoyed boy, video game addiction. Maybe I'll define the terms or describe it. Is a growing problem amongst young people, young men, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic period. People are bored and stuck at home. So I'm describing video game addiction. Video games have become the drug of choice for countless young men and peers, including, and it appears this includes your friend Mark. So I've started using the vocabulary. Some Unit 8 vocabulary here. Okay, purple. Blue. Sorry. Dr. Wu is playing with colors. Okay, that's better. So I've included vocabulary. I've written 2 sentences. And I've also introduced Mark, right? I have to introduce Mark because I start talking about Mark in the second paragraph. That is the first body paragraph. And the reader will have no idea who Mark is. But here I say, friend of a video game addict. And Mark is the video game addict. So maybe I'll mention something here. It's understandable. Video game addiction is a growing problem amongst young men, especially in this COVID-19 pandemic period when people are bored and stuck at home. Playing video games all the time. I want to be mindful to use the language of the task prompt because it's correct. Here's Mark. Including you, Mark. Including you and Mark. It's understandable. That you also want to do something else, but feel frustrated or angry that Mark doesn't. You also want to do something else. So I think that's an okay introduction. I'm presenting what video game addiction is. I'm introducing the characters, particularly your friend Mark, and also using the prompts. You might want to write another sentence or include a sentence that like, I hope these following advice might help you. But at the same time, you could just write that over here. Okay. And with words of encouragement. And I hope apparently is a popular word of encouragement. Okay. Okay, let me see if I can't use some vocabulary and semi-fixed expression. All right, now let me speak into seriously annoyed boys. You are a caring friend, and it's best for friends to develop healthy habits together. And it's best to develop healthy habits together with friends. As opposed to being alone. You're a caring friend, and it's best to develop healthy habits together with friends. I hope the above advice will be useful first steps in breaking your friend Mark's video game addiction and increasing the joy of your friendship. Okay, I think that's all right. Any questions? Okay. So let's do. I'm going to go through your writing now. See if I can provide some advice for you if you don't have any questions. Actually, too late. That's nice. That's better now. Gordon, are you there? Angelica, you can also. Okay. Thanks, Gordon. Angelica, if you don't want to write here, if you need time, again, the assignment's due tomorrow, and I'd be glad to look at it before you submit it. Hi, Dr. Ayush. Okay. Dr. Ayush. Yes, Dr. Ayush. You can tell Mark. Great. Excellent start. You can tell Mark to talk with a professional. Now, Dr. Ayush, this is a great opportunity to define what a professional is. What is a professional? Parents are not professionals. Parents are parents. Professionals are psychiatrists, psychologists, counselors, social workers, teachers. Professional refers to job. Okay. So professional refers to a job. So Dr. Ayush, I think your second sentence in your first body paragraph should be a definition. Let me color that. Let's make it really. Or provide examples. So I'm going to make this comment, add this comment here. Can you provide examples of professionals? Parents are not professionals. Otherwise, you can define what a professional is. Define what a professional is. Good, Dr. Ayush. I'm looking at your. Okay. So this is a fine topic sentence. You can tell Mark to talk with a professional and then develop this idea. What is a professional? Why should he talk with a professional? And then what can happen? Then you might want to use this as the second topic sentence. You can tell, I'm going to just do it for you, you can tell Mark's parents so that Mark's parents can help Mark. Remember, Dr. Ayush, as I wrote here, who is there? So there are only three characters. There's Dr. Q, and you are Dr. Q. There's Mark, and then there's Seriously Annoyed Boy. So we're talking about Mark, and Mark has a problem. You can tell Mark's parents so that Mark's parents can help Mark. So that's something you need to be aware of, is that your referencing is wrong. Be careful about all your pronouns. I also think that this ending paragraph isn't appropriate. I think you're still providing suggestions with these sentences. I'm going to help you. And if you want to write a third paragraph, that might be a good topic sentence and second sentence of the third paragraph. And that's a great example. What color is the example? And be careful, Mark is one person, but then you use they, which is confusing because they is more than one person. Mark should set a limit on how much he should play. And now I'm looking at your introductory paragraph, and I think the first sentence is fine. Gaming addiction is a serious problem. PC games are fun and addictive. Are fun and addictive. You might want to write another sentence. You should either write another sentence or delete this. I think this should be the last sentence of your introduction. And you should introduce Mark. So remember, Dr. Ayush, that you immediately start talking about Mark, but you haven't introduced him yet. So remember to introduce Mark and the actual problem. Remember to introduce Mark and seriously annoyed boy's problem with Mark. Boy's problem. All right, good. Here we go, Bosco. First, you should talk to Mark and tell him to stop the addiction. Okay, so I think you have a reason in here, and you might want to write another sentence about this. To explain the addiction to him. Then write another sentence explaining the reason for this suggestion. explaining the addiction might stop the addiction. Stop Mark's addiction. So it seems, Bosco, you have a reason in your topic sentence. Forget about that. Introduce the suggestion first, and then as you develop the idea, provide the reason. By explaining the addiction to Mark, Mark might stop the addiction. Excellent. Oh my gosh, Bosco, that second sentence is excellent. Wow, super, Bosco. You provide examples, and you're using the imperative sentence structure. Okay. So I think this would be a good place to write about your reason for this suggestion. Second, try helping Mark to solve the problem. Now, I think, Bosco, you need something more specific, because isn't this entire situation seriously annoyed boy trying to help Mark solve the problem? Can you provide a more specific suggestion? Because isn't the entire scenario about trying to help Mark? So here, you might have a better suggestion. This could be the topic suggestion of your second body paragraph. Then the second sentence should provide an example of it. So Bosco, you might have something with second, try helping Mark to set a limit on playing video games. Then you define what a limit is or provide an example. A healthy daily limit is like 1 hour, for instance, or 2 hours. I don't know. And then explain the reason. And that would be great. That's nice paragraph development. Okay. I think, Bosco, the introduction is going to be too long. I think your introduction will be too long. Your introductory paragraph should be shorter than your body paragraphs. Why not summarize the problem from the question prompt? Okay. So just get straight into it. If you're having a hard time, boys and girls, writing an introduction, best thing, just copy bits of this. But write it from the perspective of Dr. Q. Dr. Q summarizes the problem. Okay, still another 6 minutes here. Thanks, Jermaine. Good. Great, Jermaine. I really liked your introduction. Video games are a good way to relax, but video game addiction. Okay, don't need the BS here. Okay, hold on a sec. Sorry about that. Hello? I'm sorry about that. Okay. Thank you for letting me know, Leba. And thank you for letting me know, Gordon. Okay. Thank you. Thank you, guys. The room is unlocked. I'm sorry. I don't check WhatsApp during lessons. Sorry about that. Okay. All right. Okay. So I'm at Jermaine's Google Doc, and video games are a good way to relax, but video game addiction is common nowadays. It is a very serious problem. It's friend relationships. How about just use friendships? Okay, so try that, Jermaine. Friend relationships equals friendship. Friendship equals friend relationship. Can you add one more sentence, Jermaine, to just summarize the problem and introduce Mark? Because again, in your first body paragraph, you're just going to start talking about Mark, but for anyone who's reading this, they may not know who Mark is. You might want one more sentence. So, I mean, it appears that video game addiction has come between you and Mark. So, Jermaine, if you introduce Mark in the second sentence, you may want to say, it appears Mark has a video game addiction. But you might want to introduce Mark in the third sentence of the introduction. So you start writing about video games. Video games are a good way to relax, but video game addiction is common nowadays. Video game addiction is a very serious problem that will influence friendships. Video game addiction appears to have detrimentally influenced your friendship with Mark. So that's when you actually say that video game addiction has affected your friendship, and then you introduce Mark, who the friend is. First, you should talk to your friend Mark and tell him the troubles of playing too many video games. Okay, what are the troubles? Now, I'm a little confused here because isn't this already happening, Jermaine? Also let him know. Doesn't he already know because he already falls asleep? That's something that confuses me. I don't understand this development because he should already know. He falls asleep. He's not like narcoleptic where he suddenly falls asleep and doesn't remember. I'm not sure about this suggestion. Doesn't Mark already know that he falls asleep when he spends the whole night playing video games? I don't know. This is already happening. I mean, Mark is already playing the whole night, and he's also falling asleep. Now, you may want to actually be specific here. Okay, so I'm trying to help you develop this paragraph, Jermaine. And you might want to say, look, Mark already knows he's falling asleep in class. However, he may not know that if he continues to do this, he may fail his exams and have to repeat the grade level. See, now you're introducing the consequences, or you're providing examples of the troubles to him. And then the reasoning of telling him the troubles is maybe he'll be scared straight. Okay, boys and girls, it's 11:32. Again, this assignment is due tomorrow. I'm going to stay here and continue to look through all of your writing and provide comments for everyone who has written something. You're free to leave now, so God bless you. Oh, I need to actually take attendance. Sorry about that. Let me take attendance, and then you're free to leave. If you want to stay, stay. I'm going to comment on everyone's writing. Hopefully these comments will be helpful for you. Okay, so this was 10:30, and what we have here? We have Gordon. Thank you for showing up, Gordon. And Adam and Angelica. Adam, Angelica, Dr. Ayush, Bianca and Bosco. Victor and Jaden. Jermaine and Leo. Okay, great. So thanks for coming, guys. Again, if you want to stick around, feel free to. If you want to ask me questions, go ahead. I'll continue to provide comments for your writing. The writing is due tomorrow. Otherwise, see you. God bless you. Thanks for coming. Okay, so what about writing the final sentence, the paragraph stating the video has caused problems seriously How about a stronger sentence? Get rid of you. And tell him that you feel angry about him not turning the games off. Also, let him know that if he continues to fall asleep at school, this will influence his learning, and he may be unable to pass the tests. This. Who. Right? Again, you're using and, but the subjects are different. This may be unable to pass the test. No, it's Mark. He. Okay. He may be unable to pass the test. Good. Second, you may encourage him to find some new hobbies. Plan other interesting activities with him, such as playing basketball, reading a book, or learning to cook. These can help him to stay away from video games. Good. Nice. If it, that is that, try that. That doesn't work. You should ask his parents to help. And again, this is a third body paragraph. I'm sure when Mark's parents know Mark's situation, they will take action to control the problem. Okay, great. That's great, Jermaine. Nice job. Now, Jermaine, remember, it's not your friend always feels angry with you. It's you, serious, annoyed boy. You might be a little confused. Mark is not angry with you. You are angry with Mark. Okay. Now, if you say that, Jermaine, then you can't say this. That is, you can't use the second paragraph or the second sentence of your body paragraph because you already said it. And again, who is him? Your friend Mark. Right, so you have to introduce that. Your friend Mark. And since you've already said that, actually, you know what? Never mind. This is fine. This is actually good. Sorry about what? No, hold on a sec. No. Hold on. That's great. It's still fine. I'm sorry. Doctor was a little confused. Okay. Great, Jermaine. Very proud of you. Okay, Jaden. First, you can tell Mark about your feelings. You can tell him how video games lower. Try a different word. Try a different word. Is a lower a feeling? You can also tell Mark that he is always busy gaming when you want to go out and hang with him. I'm a little confused. Tell him how angry you are. This should be your second sentence because angry is a feeling. Okay, that's good. I'm not sure. I'm not sure this statement is appropriate in this paragraph. statement might belong in the introduction. You may also want to talk to Mark's parents. Okay, so good. This is another suggestion. So write a paragraph. This way, Mark's parents can communicate better with him. Mark reduces gaming time. There are too many suggestions. Okay. You are writing. You are providing too many suggestions. Try to write one paragraph about one suggestion. In the paragraph, develop the suggestion through definitions, examples, reasons, and consequences. Okay, that's fine. This is fine. Good. Nice. Okay, Leva, Phoebe, Jackie, Angus. Okay. Scroll right back up. Okay. Great. Can you write one more sentence to summarize the problem between Mark, seriously annoyed, and his friend Mark? Okay. Please remember to use commas and to use capital letters. Uh-oh. Oh no. Nice. Never knew there was a 30-second. Great, JD. Bye, Leo. try writing 2 sentences, Bosco. Try writing 2 sentences. One, about your advice. Two, about the consequence. Heeding following advice. I think that's it.